Every aspect, we can't catch a break. Groceries are now like triple the price. I just saw a video on TikTok and this girl was like, isn't this expensive for what this is? And it was a vegetable platter, not even like expensive vegetables, literally carrots, some broccoli, some cucumber, little cherry tomatoes. It was a decent sized platter, but it wasn't anything crazy. And now it was being charged $45 for the platter. Over double the amount that would used to be. You know, like a normal platter like that probably would go for about $15 to $20. It's $2.50 for an apple. When you're weighing to get an apple, it's $2.50 per pound for an apple. I haven't gotten a facial in so long. And when I was in high school, I used to go to this facial place all the time and get, my skin cleaned out. It's been quite a few years since I've actually been to this facial place. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a facial. They used to charge me $50 before tax. And I just looked it up now. It was $89 before tax. They're not doing anything more magical. They're now charging me $40+ more for a facial. That's how much it's gone up. We have the most expensive gas prices in the world. We have the most expensive car insurance in the world. Every aspect where you would think maybe I could save some money, you can't save any money. And then on top of that, our rent is one of the most expensive in the world. We're paying millions and millions of dollars for the land. So you could have a broken down, running, rotting house that's falling apart with rats in it, and you'd be charged millions of dollars for this house just because of the land of it. That's how expensive it is to live in Canada. I'm talking about specifically Vancouver. I don't know if it's like this in other parts of Canada as much, but it is becoming insane. I'm saying if the prices keep going up and the wages aren't going to be going up, then how do you expect us to live? Where are we going to be living? How are people going to pay off their debt? If you have debt, you're basically just going to keep working to pay off the minimum of your debt. You're never going to be able to pay it off. It's not a way to live.
Process of finding a new place. And it doesn't make any sense how this world expects you to survive. Not only do they want the rent, which is an arm and a leg, but they want 3 months, 3 times the income. And then they want a deposit. And then gas is $6 a gallon. And I'm making $19 an hour, bro. On top of bills, on top of food. Somebody needs to make the price of living actually realistic, man.
If you live in the UK, I do not know how you're supposed to survive right now.
Y'all, life is not making that much sense right now in terms of the cost of everything.
Hey Howard, how's Ramen? This is just your friendly reminder that if you step outside and take a deep breath, it will probably cost you like $200. Just to step foot outside, it's a solid $200.
If I really wanted to, we can make entire videos that are hours long, just with example after example like this. And as you heard, at least from one of the clips that I put in, this is not just a US problem, this is happening all over the world. I've seen clips from Canada, any part of the UK, Australia as well, and even parts of the world where many people have migrated because they had work from home jobs. So they ended up moving to a cheaper cost of living country, and within just a few years, all the prices have drastically gone up there too. There's almost no way of escaping it now.
How much money do you need to make to live comfortably in the United States? And this is according to a 2024 Smart Asset Survey. The 5th most expensive state is Washington, needing a $106,000 salary. The 4th is New York, and people say they need at least $112,000. The 3rd is California, which is the state that I live in, and people say they need at least $114,000. Second is Hawaii with another $114,000, and the number 1 spot is Massachusetts, $116,000.
I do also want to add that this is for an individual income. This is not like a family of 3 or 4. So when you see all of these numbers near or over the $100,000 threshold, that's just for one single person. We have a comment from one of you guys. I lived on $300 a month in 1970 when I was 22 years old. I had an apartment and all bills paid for $130 a month. My car was paid for and I worked for a mortgage company in an entry-level position. Never asked my parents for any financial help. I believe this would be impossible today. I feel bad for young people struggling, and I almost can't believe the $300 a month because it's so little, even though it was 55 years ago, because every few months there's some new statistic or some area in the country where the affordability has gotten worse, the income needed to feel safe or secure is even higher. I mean, we have a clip up on screen right here from the news. The Florida affordability salary requirements for a single adult over $97,000 and a family of 4 is $217,000 a year. You're getting pretty close to $20,000 a month. So it's really not surprising when there are way more people thinking about not having kids in the future.
Raising a child in the U.S. is more expensive than ever, about $300,000 over 18 years. According to LendingTree, it breaks down to about $29,000 a year, factoring in childcare, clothing, food, health insurance premiums, and more. The biggest jump in cost, daycare, up 51% since the last report in 2023. Hawaii is the most expensive state to raise a child. The least, Mississippi. Georgia sits at 48.
I mean, the daycare stuff alone compared to any of the other costs is just unbelievable and unavoidable most of the time. We're at a point where both of the parents have to be working full-time jobs just to be able to afford the bills, so any sort of stay-at-home mom or dad is kind of out of the question. Maybe you're lucky enough if you live with one of your parents, your grandparents are retired or live super nearby, maybe they could take care of the kid, but that's not what happens most of the time, so the daycares are raking in the money. I mean, look at how expensive it is in this example.
When somebody tells you they can't afford to have children, this is what they're talking about. A woman in my town's Facebook group shared these daycare rates today, and she said, how do you afford kids here? Because nobody knows how anybody is paying for this. For an infant for 5 days a week with 10 hours of care, it is $664 a week. That is just shy of $35,000 a year for one child. And the price does not drop that much when they hit pre-K here. It's $521 a week, which is about like $28,000 a year, okay? These are incredibly high rates for daycare. And of course, you could drop down to 9 hours a day or whatever it might be. But here's the thing. When you go to daycare, typically you're going to take the most hours because you have to commute to work, you have to commute back from work, and you have to work 8 hours a day. And unfortunately, when you miss pickup by 1 minute, they start charging you like $2 a minute. So usually it's more cost effective just to pay the higher rate for the 10 hours than to pay for the 9 hours, which is like crazy because it's 1 hour difference.
So at least for this example, it blows the $30,000 a year from the previous news clip right out of the water because that's how much it costs just for the daycare. And she said the exact same thing. Even though 10 hours seems like a crazy amount, everybody has to commute to work, losing an extra hour or two a day, along with the 8 hours that you have to be there. So a significant portion of your income, your yearly income, is going to just a single child being taken care of while you have to work your 9 to 5. But again, what other option is there other than to not have children? We have another comment from one of you guys that I almost can't believe as well. My father's wages were $75 a week and his home payment was $75 a month in the 60s. That gave him 3 checks to live on for the rest of the month. That was the American dream. So I even put that wage in a calculator. $75 in 1960 is $814 in 2025. If we convert everything over, a mortgage payment that is $814 is virtually impossible now. Very difficult to find rent that cheap as well, unless you're splitting it with other people. And the yearly salary today
chips, kind of like a salsa. It's really good. We can't have our tacos either because Walmart's out of chicken apparently. Oh gosh.
We have some ground turkey gravy, 2 of these.
Italian seasoning packets. These are really good on potatoes. I put them, just cut up little diced tomatoes, stick them in the oven, get them crispy. Some Miracle Whip. I'm sorry, Miracle Whip is the best. I know it's not actually mayonnaise, it's dressing. Well, actually, it says now it's creamy mayo and tangy dressing. So,
diced chipotle peppers.
Yes, I like to marinate my chicken in that with some lime. And then we got some deodorant. And then we picked up some strawberries. We got some Yes paper plates, because I don't know if we just go through too many dishes, but I don't have enough room. And I do dishes every day, so paper plates it is. And then picked up some bread. Hopefully this will get us at least 4 or 5 days worth of some stuff. But there we go. Walmart. I think it was like $150, maybe $140 because we didn't get the chicken. So, but if you want to see us, I think possibly we're gonna go live to do our KFC bowls, but we'll see.
Why is no one talking about how serious the cost of living actually is? So we pay like a really cheap amount of rent compared to like all the other rent I see, and we're a family of 6. We pay $9.50 rent. That's cheap. We're in Missouri. It's like not some nice new place or anything. It was actually built in 1890. My husband is working 3 jobs right now. We buy absolutely nothing. Nothing that we don't need. and we actually go without a lot of things that we actually do need. I feel like if you're able to do anything that's not just surviving, then you got it good. I feel so sad that I didn't appreciate the times where we were able to actually have fun at this point. So much has changed in the past few years. Like, what? I just really, really want to know. How is everyone surviving? Is everyone working like 24/7? Because that's what my husband does, and I'm just home with my little kids all the time. It's kind of like depressing that we're never together as a family, so I don't know. I hope one day we can be, but it sucks.
There's multiple generations of Americans who can't afford to buy a house, who can't afford to go to college, who can't afford to have children. We own nothing. We can't build anything. We can't create anything. We can't own anything. And now there's going to be nobody to pass it all on to. When millions of people feel locked out of the American dream, you're going to see a breakdown of civic engagement. Like, why vote if the system is rigged? Why pay taxes if none of that money is going to help any of us retire? It's not going to our infrastructure. It's not benefiting any of us. Look at Japan. Look at China. They've been investing their tax-paying money into their citizens for decades. If you go to travel in any of those countries, you're going to feel like you're living in 2050, but you're not. We're living in 1970 back here. To all the boomers out there who voted for this stuff, there's going to be nobody to take care of you. Because those of us in our 20s and 30s, we're not having kids. For what? When people have nothing to lose, they stop playing by the rules. So either give us something that we can lose, give us something to fight for, or it's not going to go very well. Long term, things are not going to get better if they don't break and stop voting against what's good for us. If the powers that be don't wake up and realize you have to give us something, because if we have nothing, it's not going to go well for you. And those of you who've been voting for this, stop.
I just made a video on pay transparency as an RN in Illinois, and multiple people commented saying that they think I get paid too less. So let's talk about RN wages in Illinois. In Chicago, for the same experience, it looks like people are getting paid anywhere from $36 to $38 an hour, and cost of living is definitely higher up there. In Springfield, which is our capital, starting wages bedside is $30 and it goes up to $48 an hour. Looks like St. Louis has very similar wages as well. Cost of living is much less here than what it is in other areas. I just got gas in Missouri for $2.65 a gallon. However, in Illinois, I want to say I paid $3.25 last time I got gas in Illinois. Currently, a gallon of milk is $3.72 a gallon, and eggs are $2.72 for 12. The current minimum wage in Illinois is $15 an hour. I'm currently only spending around $2,500 a month, including our house, on bills. This is excluding groceries and anything fun that we do. With a dual income like household, we make plenty. Everything he makes essentially gets thrown at debt or savings.
Inflation is not real. Prices are high. Cereal went from being like a poor girl dinner to now it's like $10 a box. But it is not inflation making it that way. It's corporate greed. It's greedflation. Groundwork Collective did a study that found that more than half of inflation was driven by corporate greed. To kind of oversimplify what happened is essentially during the pandemic, a lot of supply chains are broken. Everybody's freaking out, obviously. And so some businesses had to raise their prices because their costs were raised. But then as the pandemic slowed, their costs went back to normal. But their prices did not. So now things like groceries have risen 25% in price, which is great only for the CEOs of these mega corporations. Congratulations, they can buy like a second yacht and take their fourth mistress on a vacation. Meanwhile, things are so bad for us that I'm at the AMC asking the employee which water bottle is cheaper, and it was still $6.50. And just to add insult to injury, the corporations are bragging about what they're doing, by the way. Procter & Gamble had an $800 million profit increase. General Mills put out a statement saying that the reason that they had a 17% increase in profits this year was because they got smart about pricing. I love how getting smart to them is just like screwing over working class people. That's so smart. So, while corporate price gouging is incredibly frustrating and harmful, we're just now starting to undo the decades-long effects of trickle-down economics, and we're actually already starting to see some good things happening. For example, we have the unionization movement across the United States, which has led to increases in worker pay, new laws lowering the cost of prescription drugs. We also have new laws that are cracking down on this exact price gouging that I'm talking about and junk fees. So, although it might be a while before we actually truly fix it, things are headed in the right direction, and we need to keep paying attention and keep demanding that these corporations stop price gouging us, because I will never be paying more than $5 for a carton of eggs again.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 a piece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying.
Out. I just got back from Target. I'm in my car in the parking lot, just decompressing about all the money I spent and the little bit of bags that I have. $180 for some like bananas, peanut butter, frozen waffles, creamer, milk, just like basic things that should not cost this much. And I am like really good at price hunting, finding the best deals, clipping coupons, but I didn't have time today. It was just like, let's run in and grab some things really quick that we need. And yeah, $180 later, I am hurting for what I bought and what I got. It's just outrageous. I think I'm in denial a lot of times about just how high prices are right now in our grocery stores. And I have 2 kids and they eat a lot, and I don't want to feed them like the junk food and the quick processed stuff, but even that has gone up, like frozen meals and stuff. It's just outrageous. I just don't know how we're surviving, but we are. I mean, you know, we've been doing it and we will get through it. But I guess when I stay in my little like isolation hub at home and then I just pick what I want online, I'm not actually going into the grocery store and seeing all the prices of everything. It's not so overwhelming. So yeah, maybe I learned a lesson, like don't go shopping in the store, just got to stay with my Instacart and I'll just live in denial forever.
Come with me to Walmart. First things first, we're going for the books. Their app said that they had the 3rd book of the Zodiac Academy series, and they don't. That just ruined my whole day. They had the 1st, 5th, and 6th book, but they didn't have the 3rd book, so I just ordered it on Amazon. Big guy is almost out. Y'all, does this not look so good? Gotta find some chips for it. I forgot to get gas drops in the baby section. We've been using this one, but is this one better? Wait, Google search said this one. Come to mama. Time to go check out. Y'all, that was way more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. It was almost $200. Looks like we'll be using these for the next 2 weeks instead of just the next week. My husband's gonna kill me.
Alright, we're gonna do a little Walmart haul. We got ourselves some boneless wings, frozen sausage patties for breakfast burritos. We have sliced turkey. I never make pork chops. Ooh, these look really thin. I was hoping they would be thicker. Well, we're eating them anyways. So we got some boneless pork chops. Shredded cheese. All right, we got some shredded cheese. tortillas.
We got some cookie dough Chobani yogurt and some peanut butter cup Chobani yogurt. Flips, the flips.
Then we got ourselves we got a pepper, tomato, and onion. And we got some bananas. I love to eat bananas in my Cheerios, so got ourselves some eggs. That light back there doesn't like me. Eggs, rice. We eat a lot of rice. We got some mac and cheese.
My favorite.
Yes, she would eat macaroni and cheese every day if she could. I got then my husband and my daughter the cinnamon roll toaster strudels.
They're delicious.
I haven't tried them yet, so I have to. I don't really eat breakfast though. I got this roasted corn to put on some chicken. It's really good.
We got some mashed potatoes.
Yes, because
the buttery golden.
We're gonna be doing some KFC bowls tonight because apparently, no, you can just put them in there. Apparently Walmart is out of fresh chicken breast, so we're gonna be doing KFC bowls. Some corn dogs. My husband and Kennedy eat them a lot. We got 2. I think we're supposed to have 3. Yeah, 3 cans of corn. Because I make this like corn salsa type thing with some cream cheese and jalapenos, and we usually eat them with like tortilla chips, kind of like
fucking days, Coles, because in what reality are 2 cucumbers this size, yeah, measly, worth $7 whole? Have you lost your mind? I just went and did not even a grocery shop. I just went and got like noodles, soy sauce, the fucking $1 million cucumbers apparently, tofu, $60. A few other bits and pieces, but like $60. It's cheaper for me to order out, takeout for 2 whole people with sides than what it is to go and get like bare minimum groceries. And isn't that because the CEO is busy taking home like $40 million a year?
Now, I'm not one to get political, but the cost of living crisis is getting out of control, and it didn't really hit me until I came to my local barber in Campsie where haircuts are now $10. I've been getting my fade here from a lovely Chinaman since they were $7 haircuts, and I copped the price increase to $8 in 2022, but since then the price has skyrocketed from $9 haircuts to now $10 haircuts in 2025. With the election on this year, Albo Dutton, if you want to get my vote, how about we address the cost of living for Aussies and the cost of a fade here in Sydney, because $10 for a haircut is outrageous. Back to you in the studio.
So living out here in Australia is crazy. Let me show you. 50 cans of Coke for $50. This block of cheese, nearly $14. $4.90 on offer for chocolate. No thanks. $7 just for some milk. How am I going to survive out here?
I wish I could be proud to be Australian. Look, don't get me wrong, I am proud to be Australian. It is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. The people here are amazing. But with the rising house costs, the cost of living skyrocketing, and inflation fucking up everything, no one can live sustainable. I remember being a kid and $100,000 a year was like, you've fucking made it. You were living in a nice house on the water, had boats, jet skis, $100,000 a year. You can't even fucking make it by with that anymore. For example, today I was at Woolworths, and this lady, this poor lady, she would have been in her 30s, and she had 3 kids with her, and she was paying for $20 worth of food to feed her family with fucking 5-cent coins, sitting there counting them one by one. 5-cent coins. We're meant to be the fucking lucky country. Shit like that shouldn't be around. Shit like that shouldn't be happening. It's just beyond fucked. The cost of living has fucked up everything, and it's just slowly getting worse and worse. That's why the second I get a chance, I'm going to make as much money as I fucking can online, and I'm going to fuck off until shit sorts itself out. Because at the way it's going, we're all going to be fucked.
$10.90 for a block of cheese. $4.23 for a couple of tomatoes. $3.70 for the cheap lettuce. $3.60 for literally the supermarket brand cheapest wholemeal bread, $6 for a plain packet of butter. That is $28.43 just to make a plain sandwich. No meat, just cheese, tomatoes and lettuce. Our community is doing it tough every day at the checkout. And what is this government actually doing about it? Apparently not a thing. They know what the problems are. Still, nothing. The government needs to break up Coles and Woolworths. These massive corporations are making millions in profits while people have to make the choice between starve or pay their exorbitant rent. Now, one of the reasons Coles and Woolworths gets away with ripping us off is because either directly or through third parties, they donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Liberal and Labour parties in the last decade alone. Well, look where that has got us. $28 just to make a sandwich.